The last game between the Pistons and Knicks didn't just end with a Detroit win, it ended with a storm warning. The Pistons snapped their 15-game playoff drought and flipped the script on a series everyone thought the Knicks would control. Cade Cunningham showed up like a franchise star. The crowd silenced. And now, with the series tied 1-1 and Game 3 shifting to Detroit, everything's wide open. New York's experience is clashing with raw hunger, and something has to give. Is this where the Knicks strike back, or are the Pistons about to steal the spotlight? Watch till the end to find out if this series had a heartbeat, it would be the guards. Jalen Brunson is playing like a man possessed, 35.5 points per game so far. He's not just scoring, he's carrying New York on his back. His footwork in the paint, surgical. His pull-up jumper, automatic. In Game 1, he broke down Detroit's defense like it was preseason, but the Pistons came with a counterpunch. Cade Cunningham. After a rocky Game 1, Cade roared back with 33 points and 12 rebounds in Game 2. It was a reminder that Detroit didn't come here just to participate, they came to fight. His vision, patience, and clutch scoring kept the Pistons alive down the stretch. This backcourt war isn't just stats, it's ego, pride, and control of the series. Karl-Anthony Towns looked dominant in Game 1, 23 points, flowing effortlessly in the offense. But in Game 2, the Pistons locked him up, just 10 points. He couldn't find rhythm, and his presence disappeared in the fourth. Let's move to Jalen Brunson. The Pistons' young center didn't just show up, he dominated the glass, pulling down 13 rebounds and altering everything in the paint. The Knicks had no answer. It wasn't flashy, but it was brutal. Duren's hustle gave Detroit second chances and momentum. And now, there's talk that Isaiah Stewart could return for Game 3. If he suits up, Detroit's already gritty interior just becomes even nastier. Towns needs to respond, not just with buckets, but with impact, because if the paint belongs to Detroit again, this series could swing fast. This is where things get tricky for Detroit. Isaiah Stewart is still listed as questionable with knee inflammation, and without him, the Pistons' frontcourt is stretched thin. Jalen Brunson has stepped up massively, but he's been carrying the weight alone in the paint. Stewart's presence brings grit, toughness, and rim protection, and without that, Towns could explode if he finds his rhythm. Then there's Jaden Ivey, still sidelined with a fractured fibula, and his absence cuts deep. He's a blur in transition, a defensive pest on the perimeter, and a reliable ball handler under pressure. Without him, Detroit's guard rotation gets tighter, and that could wear them down late in games. On paper, the Knicks are in better shape. Their injury report heading into Game 3 is clean, but clean sheets don't tell the whole story. Karl-Anthony Towns looked stiff and tentative last game. OG Anunoby, legs like concrete in the second half. Fatigue doesn't always show up on injury reports, but it shows up in the fourth quarter when the legs stop moving and the shots stop falling. This late in the season, depth is everything. So is flexibility. One adjustment, one surprise substitution, one unexpected performance off the bench. That could be the difference between walking into Game 4 with confidence or walking in with regrets. Let's break down the numbers, because in this series, they're not just background noise. They're flashing red lights. The Pistons won the regular season series 3-1. That's not random, that's a pattern. Since the All-Star break, Detroit's net rating is a solid plus 4.3. The Knicks, just plus 0.3. That gap shows which team is trending up and which is flatlining. Now look at Game 2. Detroit didn't just play harder, they played smarter. They attacked the rim, drew contact, and earned 34 trips to the free throw line. The Knicks, only 19. That's not about whistles, it's about intent. The Pistons were physical, fearless, and relentless. Then there's the rebounding war. Detroit pulled down 48 boards to New York's 34. That's not just effort, it's dominance. Every missed shot felt like it belonged to Detroit. And in a game that close, those extra chances, they're gold. Stats don't always paint the full picture, but this time, they're loud and clear. Detroit isn't just hanging in, they're dictating terms. And if New York doesn't flip the energy fast, Game 3 could unravel the same way Game 2 did. Fast, brutal, and on Detroit's terms, here's where it gets unpredictable. The part of the game that doesn't show up in most previews but ends up deciding everything. Dennis Schroeder came off the bench in Game 2 like a live wire, dropping 20 points with cold-blooded timing. His three-pointer late in the fourth didn't just shift momentum, it ripped it away from the Knicks. If he delivers that again, New York's bench has to respond fast. Otherwise, they'll be chasing from behind all night. OG Anunoby is another question mark. He exploded for 23 points in Game 1, hitting key shots and stretching the floor. But in Game 2, just 10 points and barely visible down the stretch. When he's quiet, defenders collapse on Brunson, the paint clogs, and suddenly New York's offense feels like it's moving through mud. Brunson can't carry that alone, not every night. On Detroit's end, Tobias Harris is playing like the grown-up in the room. He pulled down 13 boards in Game 2, made smart switches, and kept everything steady when chaos hit. He's not trending on Twitter, but when it's crunch time, he's in the play. These guys might not lead the headlines, but make no mistake, one of them will break this game open, or quietly shut it down. Tom Thibodeau has always leaned hard on his starters, but that strategy is starting to show cracks. His offense, once fluid, now feels rigid. Towns is being underused. The rotations are tight, almost predictable. And against a team like Detroit, predictable doesn't cut it. On the flip side, JB Bickerstaff has been brilliant. He's letting his young guys run. He's trusting his bench, and his in-game adjustments is on point. Whether it's zone traps or late-game substitutions, he's staying one step ahead. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about trust, timing, and reading the moment. So far, Bickerstaff's instincts have been sharper, and that's why the Pistons are still alive and dangerous. This is where it all starts to tilt. The Knicks are favored by just 1.5. Vegas knows this isn't a mismatch. The over-under is at 213.5, which tells you to expect a grind, not a shootout. Detroit has home court now. They've got confidence, and they know Brunson can't beat them alone. If the Pistons keep the rebounding edge, control the pace, and get even 70% of what they got from Schroeder and Cade in Game 2, they can win again. But Towns is the wild card. If he wakes up and drops 30, if OG hits from the corner again, the Knicks can shift the tide just as fast. So here's the call. Game 3 goes to the Pistons. Slight edge, home crowd, more hustle, and right now, they just want it more. This isn't just a Game 3, it's a statement. A chance for the Pistons to say, we're not kids anymore. A chance for the Knicks to prove they're still in control. Every possession will matter. Every adjustment could flip momentum. These aren't just highlights for the reel. This is legacy in the making. So who's walking out with the edge? And who's walking into Game 4 with questions they can't answer? If you're hyped for Game 3, smash that like button. Drop your predictions in the comments. Share with your squad, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, because this series, it's far from over.